Okay, I saw this interesting post on Tumblr, so I'm just going to read it aloud. It is from a Twitter user whose username is not shown here, but is displayed as Stephanie Wynn LMFT. This was earlier this year, in June. Trans rights are human rights. Really? Let's examine. The right to self-diagnose and have doctors and therapists agree with you. No one else has this right. The right to have cosmetic surgeries paid for with taxpayer dollars or health insurance. No one else has this right. The right to choose who you compete against in your sports of choice, rather than to have categories and opponents determined for you by more objective sources designed to organize and moderate according to fairness. No one else has this right. The right to control how others view, think of, speak of, and include or exclude you. No one else has this right. The right to stop people from speaking, ban them from media, get them fired, or halt public events by accusing people of, quote, hate speech against a minority group that you have not been born into, but have made up and opted into by your own free will. No one else has this right. The right to decide that, in addition to the special rights you demand for your group alone, you also get to erode the boundaries others have erected around their protected class groups as well, and determine that you belong in those groups. No one else has this right. The right to demand that people like and speak well of you, no matter how obnoxious your personality or behaviors may be, and accuse them of bigotry if they dislike you or disagree with you in any way. No one else has this right. The right to indoctrinate other people's children into your religion. No one else has this right. The right to consider behavior that would otherwise be considered overtly sexual, adult, and private, and insist that it be publicly celebrated and modeled in front of children. No one else has this right. The right to infringe upon other people's cultural and religious social norms and the boundaries that protect minority and immigrants groups' senses of modesty, sanctity, purity, and safety according to their own cultural traditions. No one else has this right. The right to insist that language evolve not in its normal fashion, gradual shifts in colloquialisms over time, but all at once, upon demand, no matter how counterintuitive, to impose onto others your desired changes in how they use language. No one else has this right. I thought this was a pretty good summary of the problems with the modern trans privilege movement, I guess, the men's rights activism, essentially. So yeah, great thread on Twitter.